In the last 40 months, my Instagram grew from 7,000 to 2.5 million subscribers.
Alex Hormozi is one of the most well-known creators in the business space, and he's grown dozens of businesses from zero to tens of millions of dollars. So today we're gonna see what he has to say about how to grow a short-form content agency.
Future state for agencies in terms of if I were to start today and I had to be within that sphere is that I would be looking at the stopgap and then recruit the people to build the department out. Ultimately, most business owners want that, and it's a much more valuable solution. If you're saying, I'm going to build this department with you, it's also automatically a much longer sale, which means your LTV will probably be significantly longer. Because fundamentally, if you can get all the skills that you have put into their business, you've cloned your agency in their business and made it significantly more valuable. It also accounts for their fear, which is, well, there's two scenarios for the business owner. Either I pay you and you suck, or the other bad scenario, which is I pay you and you're amazing and you own me. If I were the salesman selling this thing, I'd be like, here are your two options with the current state. I want to show you door three, which is I am really good, but I'm going to build this so that you're not dependent on me.
This is really interesting advice and something that we're actually teaching a lot of people to do, which is sort of that done with you type of model, because I think Alex Hormozi is so spot on from the perspective of if our job as like an agency is to have the most amount of risk reversals for the client that they fear in their business, what the business wants and what a lot of businesses should be thinking about is like, I want to plug in and have an agency inside of my business. So the model that you could do from like a short form content perspective is, yeah, you could just have them send you the footage and do it yourself, or you could build the system inside of their business. And now you, from a recurring revenue perspective, can work that business on a monthly recurring basis from like an editing perspective and perhaps like a strategy perspective. And they still maintain that sense of control that if something happens or they don't feel like you own them necessarily, and then if you suck, then they don't need to use it.
Well, I'll tell you what not to do. Look at the rest of the market and take the average and then go a little bit lower, which is what most people do. It only comes down to how much value you are providing on average to the customers that are coming to you, and then taking a percentage of that value. It has nothing to do with how much it costs you to deliver it, how much time, how much effort, any of that. It's literally just what is my average outcome over what period of time, and then how can I take a percentage of that outcome on average that I deliver to customers. I'm a big believer in 10 to 20% of the value that you generate for the average customer.
With the editing space, like if you're just offering editing, the problem is it's really hard to determine what is the outcome of these edits, because all you're doing is you're delivering content as a service, and it can be challenging to quantify that. My suggestion as a content agency to follow a method like this is to have the elements inside of your agency that get your clients to an outcome. And that might require you to learn new skills. What we always teach is we want to provide outcomes, not just outputs to our clients. So I think the thing to think about what Alex Hormozi is saying, am I doing everything in my power as an editing agency or a content agency to get my clients to the outcome? And that's what we need to think about. Like, do I need to learn how to run the paid ads? Do I need to learn an Instagram funnel? Do I need to learn a TikTok funnel so that I can almost guarantee and increase the likelihood of success of an outcome to my customers? Whereas if you're just delivering content, you're kind of just crossing your fingers a little bit. So this should challenge you to think about what are the outcomes that I'm providing to my customer. And if you can provide good outcomes consistently, predictably, then you're going to be able to increase the price of your offer.
So test, record, inject, contextualize, distribute. The old way that I used to do content was I would just have this ongoing email thread to myself. I know you guys have like notes or like a chain to yourself, because you probably get ideas. You're in a conversation. Oh, I should make a piece of content on that, right? And then you email it to yourself. And that's how I did it for a long time. And the new way is the Twitter way, which I post all of those ideas as tweets on Twitter rather than just sending them to myself. And so all of a sudden, what used to be my inbox is actually just my like tweet thread. And so I tweet about 5 times a day-ish. The nice thing is that Twitter is a very forgiving platform. So it's just like stream of consciousness, and it takes notes. You don't have to pick videos or captions, or I like it because it's just thoughts. I love Twitter so much for that reason. And so I'll post this stuff and I'll be like, okay, those are the ones that people thought were interesting. And then the threads become long format and the shorts become short format, or the tweets become short format.
Super interesting concept. And what I hear Hormozi saying is have a strategy to find winning content. I would say one of the highest value skills that you should learn as a content agency is that strategy portion. And a lot of the strategy comes down to understanding the customer, copywriting, understanding the pain points of the customers. I always say to content agencies, could you just sell strategy? If that was a line item in your offer, could you sell that? And a lot of people are like, no, because I'm just kind of taking orders from my clients. And the problem is like you're just seen as an order taker and output driver. I like this method, but I also like the overarching theme of what he's saying, which is have a freaking content strategy that will get your clients results and speak to their ideal customer avatar. I like the tweets too, just because they're quick and fiery. We do that a lot on our social media, as we'll post just tweets as like a reel, and then we'll see what's actually performing really well. And then we'll really just double down on that. We'll say, cool, this is a great short form content. This is great long form content. We need to repurpose this in so many different ways. And this is the message that's resonated with them.
So you have to make this stuff contextual. And so this is what we do. So this is the same video, right? It's that same Navy SEAL video I made earlier. That's a reel, that's a TikTok, and then that's the YouTube short. So it's the same thing. You just make it match the platform. Same way you would make your Facebook look different than your Instagram, look different than your LinkedIn, etc. As long as you just make it contextual, I think it does a lot better. Because have you guys seen people just like take literally the exact same thing and post it on the wrong platform? I just think it just hurts it. And it's just not that much effort to make it contextual.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest bottlenecks to doing this is content agencies are so freaking bogged down. If I had to make 3 exports, add 3 things to Premiere Pro, edit the text style on 3 different things, and do all that stuff, that's an extra hour that could be used to editing a new video or editing another client. So what we can do is we can use a tool like submagic.co, and this is an extremely efficient way to contextualize the platform. So if I have a video, let's just say this is the style for Instagram, I can quickly change the text status for Instagram. Let's just say I wanted to change the style for TikTok, and maybe I want to remove the B-roll. Really simple for me to do inside of a tool like Submagic, and I can quickly change things and have quick exports. If I just click on export, I'll be able to export this and it'll give me 3 videos in the next 5 minutes. It's important to contextualize from Hormozi, but it's also important to be efficient with the process in doing that.
And so here's the good news, because you're like, well, Alex, what do I talk about? You can become a niche specific authority. So rather than going like, here's how to live an amazing life, right? That's like, you've got to be Jesus. Jesus can do that. You can't do that. Jesus can do that. So you got to go from here to like, I'm really good at helping people build ATM businesses. I'm really good at helping people flip houses in Phoenix. Because in that little ocean, that little pond, you can be king. Because you got to compete against 20 guys and you got to walk the talk, right? You got to do what you're doing. You talk about what you're doing. That's it. But you can win in that little pond. And I'll show you how to scale from there in a second. But you can do that. And so this is me when I started. So I had a couple powerlifting records and I liked working out. And so the stuff that I did then was about what I was doing then.
I think a lot of content agencies think, oh my God, I got to make my client go viral. I got to make my client get all these views. But I think as content agencies, what we should be focusing on is how do we become the authority with what we're actually known for doing. Sure, I could go post some polarizing videos or do something awkward just to get views. But what I would be known for is that polarizing, awkward type of video, which wouldn't be relevant to my business. And hopefully your clients feel that same way. So from like an expectation perspective, how do we become the most known in a specific niche? And if we have a really good strategy in place to help our clients become the most known, get creative with that type of content, double down, have a really good copy, have a really good strategy, have winning copy that works for that specific niche, it's going to be like a magnet to their clients from an organic perspective. Rather than speaking to everybody, I would rather magnetize people who are bought in and me become the most known in that area, because the consumer's journey is, I'm going to check you out on Instagram. I'm going to check out your website. I'm going to make sure you're legit, because people work with who they know, like, and who they trust. So instead, how we can consult our clients is we're going to help you become most known in this niche, so which is going to increase the trust for the clients. And then the strategy piece is you help them develop the message, develop the strategy that you can triple down on, and then you can be creative with ways to communicate how they're the authority in that niche. And that is how you will win when it comes to niche content. If you're interested in the software that I talked about, increasing efficiency and making you more efficient as a content agency, click the link down in the description below. And guys, using Instagram Reels for your short form content is a must. But there's a ton of conflicting information as far as getting views and going viral and what that actually looks like. That's why in this video right here, I'm going to show you the exact steps that you can take to not only go viral, but ensure you have a strategy for your clients that actually will get them results. Thanks so much for watching. We will see you on the next one.